All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back with the Thursday, November 30th, last day of November here. Breakdown for this 14-game NHL slate on tap tonight. We got a doozy. We got a big slate in front of us. We got Thursday night football action going on as well. Our guys, Hoop, Title, and Tambo have you covered over on the Mayo Media Network. If you are not a member there or a subscriber there to that channel, head over to YouTube, Mayo Media Network. You can check out that show, get you all the winners for tonight's showdown game tonight to hopefully ship the top prize there, $500,000, I believe, over on DraftKings tonight. But let's talk about NHL here. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. We're on the drive for 5,000 subscribers right here. Once we hit that, we're giving away an annual membership to someone right here, a lucky subscriber on this YouTube channel for a $699 package to SHIPITNation.com to our premium content. If you are not a member and you do want to join, head over there, click join now. We got weekly, we got monthly, and we got yearly and 6-month packages all available at different price points. The yearly package takes the price down to about $50 a month. Get you access to all of our premium content, projections, everything. We've been smashing all sports, including NBA right now, NHL, NFL, you name it, we have it, and we've been crushing. So let's jump right into this slate. Obviously, 14 games. I'm going to talk through some of my favorite stacks, a couple value plays at each center, wing, and D position, sub 4K players that you can look at on DraftKings, and then some of my favorite goalies. As always, all my final content will be up on SHIPITNation.com for premium subscribers. Let's jump right in. From this slate, we got pretty interesting slate here. 5.5 total in Boston and San Jose, which is interesting because that game obviously is going to be the chalk of the slate there in Boston. But a lot of 6.5s. No 7 totals on this slate, but majority of the games are 6.5 totals. Let's talk about the chalk of the slate. The Boston Bruins minus 525 favorites here at home against the San Jose Sharks, who can't stop anyone. Worst road defense in the entire league, giving up over 4.5 goals per game, give up the most high danger chances in the league. And you get Boston here. Boston has way better expected goal numbers than actual goal numbers. So you can argue they got some positive goal regression coming here, and no better spot than in a matchup right here on home ice against San Jose Sharks, the worst team in the league. Gotta love Boston here. They're going to be super chalky, but I think you can get different jumping down into some of these depth guys that I'll talk about. But first, got to go right back to the well with David Pastrnak, 9,800, one of the best wing plays on the entire slate here. Flop leg after he let down against Columbus there. He only took 2 shots on goal, which he's been averaging over 5 shots on goal per game over the last 5, hitting ceiling of 8 shots on goal, things like that. Only took 2 shots on goal where they got beat 5-2. Boston coming off 3 straight losses here, Detroit, the Rangers, and Columbus. You got to look for Boston to right the ship here on home ice. I expect them to come here with a vengeance and absolutely smash. Losing 3 straight, that's not of character for this Boston Bruins team. So I expect them to come out here rolling. Love Pastrnak. Charlie Coyle's a nice, solid value play. Second line center here at 4,900. That's a good price point. I like that second line with Frederick and James Van Riemsdyk next to Charlie Coyle. I like that line a lot. The top line with Zacha, Pastrnak, and Marchand is a great line. Marchand at sub 7K is a great price point for him. He's got good history against San Jose. Earlier this year, he did score a goal against them back in October, so you can definitely look to him. Jake DeBrusk on that third line. This third line is actually interesting with Poitras, Danton Heinen, and Jake DeBrusk. I think they're going to be a little overlooked. And DeBrusk is averaging over 2.5 shots on goal per game over the last 5. He's got a 4K price point. Heenan's cheap and Poitras is cheap. And nobody's going to really go to that line if they're playing Boston here. And they get the best matchup on the slate. So I really like all 3 lines here for Boston. Love the flop leg spot for Pastrnak. They're going to get ownership. I just don't really care. I love Boston in this spot. I think they're a great target in this slate. Next team I'm looking at here is actually going to be the Detroit Red Wings at home here. Chicago has been very leaky on the road. They allow the second most high danger chances in the entire league. And Detroit's been pretty solid, actually. Winning 4 or 3 of their last 4, including beating Boston, including beating New Jersey, including beating Minnesota. Lost a close one last game to the Rangers last night here. They are on a back-to-back here, but they are at home getting these Blackhawks. I like going back to the well here with Detroit. Really like Detroit in this spot. Think they go a little bit overlooked in GPPs. One guy I do want to bring up, Daniel Sprong, has incredible history against Chicago. He scored a goal in both of his last 2 games against the Chicago Blackhawks team. And last season, Detroit scored 8 goals and 7 goals, 15 goals in 2 games. So I really like Detroit a lot here from GPPs. Daniel Sprong, solid value play. Nobody's going to go to him, 4th liner, but he is getting power play time. He's averaging right around 12 to 14 minutes. He's averaging the most shots on goal per game over the last 5. And again, incredible history. So 4,400 for him. Daniel Sprong, great one-off. Really like this top line with comp for Lucas Raymond and Alex DeBrincat. Again, I think they go overlooked compared to some of these other equivalent or similar price teams on this slate. So I really like Detroit here. Big Mo Sider, 5,600 for him, is a fine play at the D position. Jake Wallman has been great all year. 5,100 for him is a good price point for him as well. So really like Detroit here. Can't go wrong with any of them. And I like Detroit quite a bit here in GPP. So definitely have my eye on them. This next team is mainly a power play correlation spot for me. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning here on home ice against the Penguins. 6.5 total, -135 favorites for the Lightning on home ice here. But looking at the power play, they got the best home power play in the entire league. Penguins do kill off 81% of the penalties so far this season on the road, but Tampa, best home power play in the league, cashing in 35% of the time. Pittsburgh still gives up about 3.5 chances per game to the opposition. So give me this top power play line here for Tampa Bay. Kucherov, Point, and Hagel have been playing great together. Obviously, they correlate as well on that power play. Hagel's on the second power play, but you can throw in a guy if you need a value guy, like a guy like Nicholas Paul. 3,800 for him on that top power play is a good play. Victor Hedman, 5,700 running Point on that top power play as a D-man. He's a good play. And then you got Stamkos, Braden Point, and Nikita Kucherov running out that power play. So really like Tampa power play here in GPPs. Think is a great target spot for them. Another team I'm looking at here on this slate is going to be Nashville here. Nashville gets a good, juicy matchup here against the Wild on home ice here. The Wild have not been the same team that they were last season. They've just been very, very leaky. They don't allow a ton of high danger chances on the road, but where they do struggle is on the penalty, killing off just under 70% of power plays against. They give up almost 4 chances per game. I really like this Nashville power play here. Philip Forsberg's been playing great all season long. He's on that top power play. Roman Josi is down to 7,200. I mean, we were paying over 8K last year in this matchup. He was 8,600 and 7,500. Now he's just 7,200. He's a great option. He's averaging over 4.5 shots on goal per game over the last 5. So I really like him. Ryan O'Reilly's been very good as well. Like the price on him at 5,700. Gustav Nyquist, one of the best value wings on the entire slate. This guy's averaging over almost 12 fantasy points per game, and he's just 4,300. So I really like Gustav Nyquist here, my favorite by far. And then Colton Sissons is also going to be on that top power play there. Don't love him a ton, but he's just 3,500, so a great price there. But really like Nashville here. Mainly the power play guys for me is where I'm looking. I'm not scared of this Minnesota team, not scared of this Minnesota defense, especially on the road here. Nashville is a pretty solid team on home ice as well. Jumping into 2 more stacks that I'm looking at. First stack here is going to be Winnipeg, another home team here. Winnipeg gets a matchup against the Edmonton Oilers on home ice here. Oilers averaging over 4.3 goals against per game over their 11 road games on the season. And Winnipeg's been a top 5 team in the league on home ice here. So really like Winnipeg. Mark Scheifele, 6,300, great price point for him. Josh Morrissey's actually has sneaky upside in terms of D-man, and he's 5,800. I mean, we've seen 30 points from him this season at the D position, and he's just 5.8K. So like him. Kyle Connor continues to be underrated here, in my opinion. The only issue I have with Kyle Connor on this slate is he is 8,100, but he's got as much upside as almost anyone on the slate. I mean, he just went for 50 earlier this year, back in early November against Nashville, went for 40, went for 37. I mean, he's got the upside to break a slate. So you definitely, in a matchup like this, have to give him a look here as well. Ehlers as well, the line mate for Connor, and Scheifele full strength, 4,700 for him is a fine value play there. Alex Iafallo getting top power play time at 4.7K. He's a good value option. So I do like these Jets here on home ice in GPPs. They draw a pretty good matchup here against Edmonton. Edmonton is a great offensive team, but give me the Jets in this one as a home dog here, plus 100 for the Jets. I do like that. And then the last team that's going to get a lot of ownership as well, it's going to be Colorado on the road here, heading to Arizona. Colorado's owned Arizona in the past here. I just think it goes right back to the well here. Arizona's been leaky on the road or on home ice, excuse me. And Colorado has their big dogs, Valeri Nichushkin, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon. All three of those big dogs are firmly in play. They are expensive. I like the price point on Valeri, 6,700 is a good price point. He's been playing great. Ross Colton continues to be a solid value play at just 3,900 here. Gets a pretty good matchup against Arizona. Cale Makar, you can argue, has the most upside almost of anyone on the slate in terms of deep position. I prefer Roman Josi for a cheaper price point, but Cale Makar, 8,200, he's been playing great. One guy I really like, and this line that I like in general here, is actually going to be the second line for Colorado. Thomas Tatar, Jonathan Drouin, and Ryan Johansson here. Ryan Johansson, 3,600, one of the best value centers on the entire slate. 15 and 22 DraftKings points in his last two games. I like second liners a little bit more on the road here. I expect Clayton Keller and those guys to match up with McKinnon and go line for line here. So should give a better boost to the second line. Jonathan Drouin is cheap. Tatar's cheap. Johansson's cheap. So give me Colorado too. If I'm going to Colorado, should get me a little bit different when people are going to come to this team as well. Jumping into the value plays, we're going to start with the center position. A couple of other value centers that I talked about outside of the ones that I already mentioned in terms of the stacks. First guy, Anton Lundell here. This guy continues to get the job done. He's got great history against Montreal as well. Last game, scored 2 goals last season against this team. Now he's averaging over 2.5 shots on goal per game, playing over 16 minutes. Anton Lundell, 3,600, solid value play on this slate. Another value guy at 4K flat gets a decent matchup here against St. Louis. Buffalo, St. Louis, pretty even two teams here. St. Louis is at home, but Dylan Cousins, 4K flat, second liner. I like him more on the road. You can pair him with Peterka here. This second line has been playing pretty good hockey all season. And Dylan Cousins has owned St. Louis in his past. He's got a goal in both of the last 2 games, scored 21 DraftKings points in both of those games last season. Draws the same matchup here. And last time he was in St. Louis, he played 19 minutes, had 5 shots on net and a goal. I could see him getting the job done here again at 4K flat. So Dylan Cousins for Buffalo is definitely a guy I'm looking at. And the last guy I'll mention outside of the stacks that I already brought up, like I said, is Ryan Poehling for Philadelphia, 2.9K. This guy continues to play over 14 minutes, continues to fire the puck, continues to be active when he's on the ice. He's averaging over almost 12 fantasy points per game over the last 5, and he's $400 over min price for Ryan Poehling here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Another value play that you can take a look at here in this spot. Jumping into the value wingers on this slate, first guy is going to be another guy from Buffalo here. And it's going to be a guy that's stone minimum and is averaging almost 10 DraftKings points per game. Another guy, Kyle Okposo here. Okposo getting power play time as well. He's averaging about a minute of power play time per game at stone minimum. So I really like that here. Gets a matchup against St. Louis again. I like fourth liners a little bit more on the road. So Kyle Okposo here, I think, is a great value play at stone minimum. I mean, 19, 13, 14 in his last 3 games. Has a goal in 3 straight games. If he scores your goal at 2,500 on a 14-game slate, allows you to spend up to these big dogs, you can definitely do worse. So he's my favorite value play is Kyle Okposo here. Another value wing, Alex Killorn for the Anaheim Ducks here. Gets a matchup against Washington. Pretty solid matchup for wings. He's getting top power play time at sub 4K. Averaging over 3 shots on goal per game as well, playing over 17 minutes. Alex Killorn excellent value play for the Anaheim Ducks. Going back to Nashville here, do like Nashville in this spot, and do like Yakov Trenin here, getting power play time. He's skating next to Sissons, who's also getting power play time. This guy's averaging almost 2.5 shots on goal per game. He's playing over 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes. I mean, 19 minutes, 19 minutes, 17 minutes in his last 3 games. He's active when he's out there. He's averaging almost 10 fantasy points per game over the last 5, and he's 3,100. So I do like Yakov Trenin here. Bring up this guy every time I talk value centers, but guy continues to produce. He's averaging almost 12 fantasy points per game over the last 5. He's taken over two shots on net per game, playing over 16 minutes. Blake Coleman, 3,900. Great play. Great value play on the slate. Does get a pretty tough matchup here against Dallas, but minutes lead to opportunities. He's active when he's out there, and he's on that second line with Huberdeau and Mikhail Backlund. So do like Blake Coleman. And then the last value guy I'm going to bring up is for Tampa here. Already talked about like in Tampa, the power play, but another value play for it is Michael Eyssimont here. 14 to 15 minutes, but he's averaging over 3 shots a net per game over the last 5. So when he's on the ice, he's been active. Michael Eyssimont is going to round out the value wings on this slate. Let's jump into the defensive position here, talking some value D-men, again, 4K and below. First guy I'm going to bring up is Jake Middleton here for the Minnesota Wild. Big-time shot blocker here. I expect him to see a ton of shots from Nashville side of the puck. 37,100 for him. Good value play for him. He's playing 17 to 19 minutes, so not a ton of ice time. But when he's out there, he's blocking shots. He's active on the ice. He's taking a couple shots on net. He's averaging over 11, almost 12 fantasy points per game over the last 5 as well. So Jake Middleton, 3,700, solid value play there. Another value guy for this is Mike Riley here for the Islanders, $300 over min price, getting power play time. Not going to play a ton of minutes. He only saw 11 minutes last game since he's returned back from injury. So I do like Mike Riley, 2,800. Not my favorite, but again, he's $300 over min price, allows you to spend up elsewhere, and he gets power play time. So you can't ask for much more from a value D-man. Another guy, Connor Murphy here. I like Detroit in this game, but Connor Murphy is going to block shots here. He gets 18 to 20 minutes as well. If he can pick you up 3 blocks and get you that bonus in terms of DraftKings scoring, definitely could be enough at his price point. So Connor Murphy, 3,300, another solid value D-man on this slate. 2 more for you. First guy, Nick Seeler here for Philadelphia, 3,600. Another main shot blocker. You're looking for him to pick up those 3 blocks, which he's been averaging over the last 5 games. He's averaging almost 3.5 blocks per game over the last 5. That's going to get you that bonus scoring on DraftKings. Again, outside of the game against the Islanders, he hasn't scored under 10 DraftKings points. I mean, 15, 13, 12, 16, 14, 12, 10. I mean, this guy has been producing. He's averaging over almost 10 fantasy points per game over the last 5, and he's 3,600. So Nick Seeler, do like him. And then the last guy I'll bring up from the value D-man position is probably my favorite value guy if I'm punting. It's Marcus Pettersson, 2.8K here in a matchup against Tampa Bay. He's going to block shots, but this guy plays over 23 minutes on average. Played 24 minutes last game against Nashville, 23 minutes, 22 minutes, 22 minutes. Marcus Pettersson for Pittsburgh here against Tampa Bay. He's going to see shot volume. He's 2.8K, my favorite value play on the entire slate from the D position, Marcus Pettersson. Really like him here on this slate. And then let's jump into some of my goalies here on this slate that I'm looking at before I get on out of here. Again, all my final content will be live on SHIPITNation.com. If you are not a member, head over to SHIPITNation.com. Click join now, select your package, and we will get you access to all of our premium content, including my slate plan, core plays, and our premium matchup sheet that is basically a one-stop shop to help you build lineups on this slate. Let's talk some of the goalies here. First goalie I'm going to bring up is Thatcher Demko here. I like both goalies in this game, Demko and Adin Hill. I prefer Demko just because he's on home ice here, but he's also more expensive. So Thatcher Demko, Adin Hill, I think are both good goalies. I don't like the offense in that game. I like both goalies. Both goalies are sub 8K. Adin Hill has a cheaper price point here, but he is on the road. But I do think he with the cheaper price point, with the history. Demko hasn't had the greatest success against Vegas. Gave up 9 goals in the last 2 games he's seen them. So I do slightly prefer Adin Hill if choosing between them, but have to bring them both up. I expect it to be less offense in that game overall. Another goalie on the slate, Joseph Woll. This guy's playing great hockey here. Toronto should win this game against Seattle as well, and he is on home ice, 8.2K. He's playing great as well, just coming off a massive game against Florida, one goal against, a 38 save win there. So Joseph Woll, like going right back to the well with him. Probably my favorite goalie on this slate is actually going to be Juuse Saros here on home ice against Minnesota. I'm not seeing a ton of ownership projected right now for him, and I think that's just wrong. 7.8K on home ice here in a matchup against Minnesota. I like Nashville to win the game. Juuse Saros, my favorite goalie on the slate at 7.8K. And then the other goalie I'll bring up is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen here. Probably butchered that name, but again, I like Buffalo to win the game against St. Louis, and he's 7.4K. So if you need a cheap goalie, look at UPL here for Buffalo, 7.4K. 16, 21, 20. He's coming off 3 straight wins against Chicago, Pittsburgh, and the Rangers. He's been playing great, and now gets a matchup against St. Louis where I do think Buffalo wins the game outright here. So I do like UPL to round out my goalies on this slate. That's going to do it for this 14-game slate breakdown for NHL. Again, Core Play slate plan will be live shortly on the website for premium subscribers. If you are not a member, head over there, shipitnation.com, click on join now and select your package. Get in the Discord, best community in the industry. But good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. For myself, Nadesify, let's ship it.